What's up, everybody? It's Fastlane here. I'm doing a review and overview of the AVH-X4800BS. It is a 7-inch double-din motorized head unit by Pioneer. Has quite a bit of features for the very low price. I believe I paid $190 for it on Amazon. I always recommend going to Amazon because they always have the lowest prices, or they match the lowest prices out there. And the 2-day shipping, you really can't beat that. If I don't use them, I use Crutchfield. I'm not getting sponsored or paid to say that, but I'm just telling you the best places to buy in my opinion. And I also only go with Pioneer. This is my third Pioneer double din I've had, and I absolutely love everything about them. But with that said, I have had a few small issues with this one where the Bluetooth decides to cut in and out. But I think that might be my phone. I'm using a Samsung S7 Edge. I'm also using it to record right now, so I'm not going to be able to show you all the features I can do with it. But I think it might be the phone. I have a new one coming in as a replacement, so we'll see what happens from there. Next to that, it's a great unit. I love it to death. It's got a lot of good features, a lot of cool things, a lot of personalization you can do to it with colors, backgrounds, and what have you. So let's get right into it. So right now it's on the radio, traditional radio. It does have 3 FMs, so FM 1, 2, and 3. Then it has an AM. Plus, I believe this unit is HD radio capable, so you can use HD radio. Then if you go into the disc, it does do DVD, CD, and many different formats. I believe I have a movie in here. I also have the bypass hooked up, which you can pick up for around $10 on Amazon. You just hook it up to 3 wires within the unit, and that's it. You get video while you're driving, and it won't give you any issues because it is technically against the law to watch video while you're driving. But I hook this up for passengers and plus my kids whenever they want to watch a movie. So we'll get out of that. Then if you go into this feature right here, it's a USB iPod. You can hook up a USB flash drive with music on it, or your iPod or any other USB device. I have a cable that's running down through my climate underneath the center console into my middle compartment here. I don't use it that much because I stream Pandora and Spotify most of the time, so I have no need for it. I don't like downloading music and trying to sort through it all. I'd rather just thumbs up music that I like to hear and keep playing it that way. This way I'm not using up a lot of storage on my phone or any other USB device. Pandora is here. I won't go into that or Spotify, but they are featured. They work both through iPhone and Android. They do pretty much all the interfaces you would see on the phone. So with Pandora, you can do thumbs up, thumbs down. You can favorite a song or create a station from that song. You can actually organize favorite stations over here on the left. As you see on the radio, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can do that within Pandora to where you can favorite one of your pre-programmed stations as a favorite on the unit. So this way, if you're currently listening to that and you periodically listen to that station, you can favorite it on the left here in Pandora, so this way you know what station you want. Now, as you can see, I have my stations programmed in the radio. It works just the same as Pandora. Spotify, I don't believe it works that way, but it does have a lot of good features about it. That one is the same interface you would see on Spotify on your phone. Now if we go back here, you have Bluetooth audio. I turn the source off, whoops. You have Bluetooth audio. So if you want to stream music from your phone or you want to stream music from any other device, you can use that. And then I have satellite radio hooked up. I bought the unit because it came with 6 months of free satellite radio, and the unit was only $40. I bought that with my last head unit, which was a single din before I had it in here. So that works perfectly fine. Right now I don't have any subscription because satellite radio is a little expensive sometimes, but it does work, and my antenna is mounted up there. Now, as I said, this is a Bluetooth unit, so you can make and receive calls. It has a pretty good voice function, but we'll get into that in a second. And then it has an auxiliary, so you can run an auxiliary cable from the back of the unit. It has no ports on the front except for a CD, DVD port, which I'll show you in just a minute. And you can run an auxiliary cable from the back of the unit to anywhere you'd like. You can run it up to your dash, your glove box, your center console, whatever. So this way you can plug in an iPod or some other MP3 device that doesn't have a USB connector, or you don't have the cable or what have you. So it's just many different ways you can stream your music or play your music through your device. And then AV is a video. Obviously you can do a gaming system if you want, hook it up, or any other feature. I don't have that set up because I don't have any reason to have a gaming system in here. I don't drive my car on long road trips that often to have a gaming system. I do plan on putting TVs in the headrest, so I will tie into that eventually, but that's in the long run. It also has a rear camera, which I do have one because they're so cheap on Amazon that you can pick them up. As you can see, it works perfectly fine. I don't have it wired to the reverse signal just yet, but I do turn it on if I absolutely need to. Most of the time I don't. But as you can see, it does work, and there's different features you can use on that. So the button I keep hitting here is the home button. That'll take you back to this home screen. And once you're back on the home screen, you hit the AV button. It brings up all the different sources. These are the most common. And then it brings up the other sources, which you can turn off or turn on. And then you can hit source off or power off. Now the other thing you can do is, say we're in radio. If you push this little arrow right here, it'll bring up a list of all your different sources of music. So you can go to those from there, or you do like I do, which just hit the home button and bring up this menu, whatever's faster to you. You can turn the display on or off. That's this button here. And then you have a volume up and down, rewind, fast forward, and then this is your eject button. Now this has a tilt, so you can tilt it back or forward any way you like, or if you want to eject the disc, which it's going to pop out my DVD right now, pop out the DVD, put it to the side, and then if you pop in another disc, it'll automatically close, or you just hit the button if you want to close it and not put a disc in. So let's go into the settings menu. You have a favorites. You can set any one of these settings as a favorite, so when you go to favorites, it automatically is right there. You go straight to it. Which I have AV source settings as a favorite. You can set settings within your sources. You can turn Bluetooth audio on, Spotify on, off. Sirius XM has settings. Right now I'm not on it, so the settings aren't popping up. Radio settings, local. That's really the only setting. I'm not 100% sure about what that is. And then the mix tracks, you can go in and mess with those settings as well. There's not many, but there are there. Now if you go up, you have an up arrow so you can go back to the previous menu you're on. Ever scroll, I have that turned off. Beep tone, as you can hear, it beeps every time I push the button. Auto mix is on. Now if you're going to input output settings, you can smartphone setup. You can do USB or App Radio 1. App Radio 1 is through Android, and then the USB would most of the time be through iPod or iPhone. App Radio 1 is for the Android devices, so where you can have somewhat of a screen from your Android phone on here. I won't get into it because I think it's complete stupidity, and I didn't buy the unit for that, so I don't use it. Anyway, as I said, you can turn some of your inputs on or off. AV input right now is off, so you can turn it back on if you want. Aux I don't use, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off actually. Camera settings, you can turn the camera on, or you can reverse the polarity, whether it's battery or ground. I have it on battery right now. Demo mode, obviously I have that turned off. You can change the language. You can restore the previous settings from the factory. Your touch panel calibration, you can do that. You can adjust the dimmer settings, so you can have it to auto, manual, or time. I haven't set it auto, obviously. And if you go to picture adjustment, I've used this quite a bit. When you turn the lights on, as you can see, I turn them on, it gets a little brighter, and it goes to a moon. That shows your nighttime settings. If you turn the lights off, it goes to day, shows your daytime settings, so you can adjust the brightness, contrast, and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And the other thing I like is when you hit one, it automatically shows you the picture. You adjust it with this here, and then you can change, go down to dimmer, so you don't have to go back to the previous menu. You just scroll through this way, which I thought was pretty cool. And you can also adjust that when you're playing a movie as well. Or you can adjust your rear camera, so the camera pops up. I can adjust all my settings within the camera, which I think is pretty cool. Right now I think it looks pretty good, so we're going to leave it as it is. This is where you find your system information, your firmware. You do updates through a USB. Right now I'm on the latest, so I don't need to worry about that. Now we go into appearance. Background is here. There's a lot of different backgrounds, or you can upload your own background if you want. I used to have one on here. I don't believe I do anymore. Now the illumination, you can do colors. Right now I have it on blue because all the lights in my Jeep Grand Cherokee are blue, so I have it matched to that. Or you can do variation of colors, or it'll cycle through the colors, or you can do a manual color, whichever you like. The theme, you can change the theme within the menu settings, so the menu theme will change. Again, I have it on, actually I have it on white with the menu. And then if you go to, I believe, okay, I guess, oh no, here we go. So home, which is this home here, I have it set to white. However, if you go to AV, it goes into your audio video source. You can change that theme as well. So you can change that to blue. And now the background is a bluish color, as you can see. I personally don't like that because it just gives me a little bit too much blue. So we're going to change that back to the gray I had it on, and leave it at that. The backgrounds, like I said, there's a lot of different ones, and there is some moving ones. I don't have a moving one set on right now. Just not a fan of it. You can change your clock style or turn the clock completely off. I'm going to turn the illumination back to blue. And these kind of, it breaks them down into certain settings. So as I said, you can favorite these, but it all goes within the same settings. So theme, illumination, background, and clock are all there. Now this is your audio settings, graphical EQ. Change it to whatever you want, or you can customize it. Fader balance, that's pretty self-explanatory. Mute level, when you mute it, it'll either mute completely or go to a very low volume so it's still on, or you turn it completely off. Subwoofer, I do have a 12-inch subwoofer in the back, so that's on, and that's really the only setting within that. Speaker level, now I think this is pretty cool. You can change your listening position to front right, front left, the front in general, all, or just turn it completely off. Now, I mostly do front left because when we go somewhere, my girlfriend and my kids, we always take her car, not mine. So I have it set to that, and then again you can change the level. So I have it on front left. If I want to increase the left volume a little bit, I can. As you can see, it drops the levels of the other speakers a little bit lower, so it's keeping my level higher. Crossover, I haven't messed with that. You can adjust your subwoofer or your front speakers or your rear speakers. So I haven't messed with that. I'll leave it as it is. Subwoofer settings, this is basically the same setting. It brings you into the same menu. Listening positions is what we talked about earlier. This doesn't allow you to adjust the speakers, but it does allow you to adjust where the position is, or you turn it off. Time alignment, I'm not sure exactly 100% what this is. I just have it turned on. I'll get more into that if you guys know. Let me know what it is. I'm not a big audio buff guy, just know some of the basis. Some of these are grayed out for certain reasons. You can also, what I think is pretty cool, is save your settings. So if you're listening to a certain type of music or from a certain source, you can save the settings for that. Or you can load settings. I do believe that works within the unit. You don't have to have a USB drive for that. Bass boost, you can go as high as 6 or go down to 0. I have it set at 2 because I have a remote for my subwoofer to turn it up and down. So I don't need to worry about bass boost. Loudness, I do have that turned off. It can go all the way up to high, just like any other unit. And automatic level control, whether you want to use an automatic level for the volume, I believe it is. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on that, guys. And that's it for audio. Now, this is the video setup. There's really not a lot in here. Your video setup settings for these different video sources, auxiliary camera or AV, you can set to different formats if you want. But I haven't messed with that. Now the Bluetooth settings, this is your connection. I have one phone in here. I haven't connected any other phone. Auto connect is on or off. Phone book synchronization, obviously it'll sync your phone book and your call log. Your visibility, whether you want the unit to be visible or not. You can change your PIN code if you like. The device information, so this way you know what you're looking for when you're pairing a Bluetooth device. Auto answer I have set to off. It does pop up a box that tells you who's calling, what number, and you can either accept or decline. Your ringtone, you can turn that on or off so it interrupts your music and rings, or you leave it off. Invert name, we don't want to invert all names. I'm not sure what that means. Bluetooth memory clear, if you're having troubles with your Bluetooth, I recommend clearing the Bluetooth. It'll clear all phones and paired devices, and I'll turn it completely off. Bluetooth version, it'll tell you here. The Bluetooth software update will show up when you have a USB drive, but with this unit, the firmware includes the Bluetooth software update. So you have to do it all at once, but as I said, this is on the latest version. So that's really about it. Some of the shortcuts from the home screen are the EQ. You can adjust that if you like, and it brings you right into the same menu. It just takes you directly to that EQ. This is just the settings menu. It'll take you right back to where you left off. And this is your shortcut to your phone menu. As you can see, I have some numbers in here. You do have a dial pad. You can dial whatever number you want. Recent calls, missed calls. My girlfriend's obviously baby doll in my phone. And let's get back into that. This is your preset dial. I don't have any presets saved. Phone book, call log, dial pad, and you have voice command, which I'm not going to hit because it'll interrupt the video. You can turn your private mode on or off to where it'll turn off the Bluetooth and you'll be back on the phone, or you can leave it on. It's up to you. The cool thing I like about it is it does tell you your signal strength, your battery level, and then how many devices are connected, because you can connect up to 2 devices at once, which I think is pretty cool. So that about does it. As I said, this thing is a great unit. If you have some of the attachments already, or if you buy them later on down the road, it'll work. It does have steering wheel controls. I don't have those hooked up because I do have them on the back of the steering wheel, but I didn't buy that unit because it's about $45, and I was doing this on a little bit of a budget. So if you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know. I didn't mention this is actually in a 2000 Jeep Grand Cherokee. If you can tell, this is kind of not a factory piece here. That's why it's so shiny, because this is not meant for a double din. There's actually quite a lot of trimming you have to do. You have to cut out quite a few things in order to get this to fit. I don't recommend it unless you plan on keeping the car, but I don't plan on getting rid of mine. So I went ahead and did it. But I will say that be very skeptical about who you buy your dash piece from, because they're made by people. It's not a company that makes them. You have to buy them from a person who makes them and sells them on the internet. So they have them on Amazon and eBay. This was my second one. The first one I had broke. Didn't work that well, so I got this one off a user on eBay who lives in Florida. Did a great job. It fits perfectly, as you can see, and I'm going to get it wrapped in carbon fiber so it doesn't look so shiny compared to all this not shiny stuff. So again, if you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I'll be sure to answer them as soon as I can. Thanks a lot.